Well, another successful mission, Lee. Delivering those religious artifacts and making a tidy little profit.
Indeed we did.
Did you see all that illegal porn they had?
Indeed I did.
God, can you imagine being stupid enough to pick some of that up where it's like on pain of death in this sector?
Well, you mean like the Zendarian porn where they have women with 6 breasts?
Yeah, it's oddly specific, but yeah, one of them.
Whiskey 49, this is Contraband Sam. Do not deviate from your course.
That's Snare.
Yep. You've got porn, haven't you?
I have like a lot of porn.
We talked about this. How much porn have you got?
2,500 cubic meters.
For fuck's sake. What do you need that much porn for?
It's a long way to Texas.
Should have realised we can only transport one fucking crate at a time. Oh, fuck me sideways.
Yeah, that's in there.
Oh, shut up. Look, we've only got one choice here. We either stay and fight, destroy the entire police force, or we run.
Well, I'm not losing my porn. We fucking run.
Go on then, hit it.
Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're doing another review from Overbite Gaming, and it's Rebel Galaxy Outlaw.
Woo!
I have to say, it was a very anticipated game for me because I absolutely loved the hell out of the first one.
I did enjoy the first one.
And it had the best game soundtrack in the history of the world ever.
It had a good one.
Yeah, it had a great one.
But yeah, this game, it seems to be a bit of a departure from the first.
Yeah,
because it is
definitely.
prequel as well, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's kind of like it's done a bit of a Star Wars on us, where the newer films after the colder, but they don't. But yeah, this game, when I started playing it, I kind of had a feeling of a bit meh, because I was like, it just feels like it's not quite at that quality level, and it's about 25 quid on Steam, isn't it?
Epic.
Oh, Epic, sorry.
Epic, it's close to have.
I just get so used to saying Steam. But yeah, the actual game itself was kind of like, okay, well, it's a bit of this, it's a bit of that. But it grew on me. It really did grow on me.
Like a fungus.
Yeah, I had a lot more fun as the game progressed. I came across a few missions that were absolutely impossible, but it didn't really give you any guidance as to why they're impossible, because it felt like I'd enter the battle and then I would just die. So maybe we'll talk a bit about what the game is, but that was my first impression. But then once you upgrade stuff and get better things, better ships, better guns, it becomes a bit easier.
Yeah, it definitely does have an unfair element when you first play it, because you're effectively flying a cargo container with an engine on the back of it. That basically sums up your initial ship, and it's not very powerful. It can't go very fast, so any combat encounter, it basically removes the ability to get out of there.
Yeah, it's all pew pew,
because all the ships are fast than you, they're all doing more damage than you, so like for the first few hours, if you get into a fight that's not like part of the mission or part of the storyline, at least at that early level, then you're kind of fucked. Because you can't run away, you're too slow, and you can't fight back because you're underpowered.
Yeah, I mean, the story of the game, we haven't finished the game.
No.
Because
I have a better excuse for that in here.
There's a fly in here.
Yeah, there is a fly in here.
I'm going to kill it or eat it. The story kind of starts out, you get kind of fucked over by a big baddie, and then you want to kind of get back at him, and then that's kind of your story arc. You're basically a chick with a spaceship, and you're trying to get yourself through doing favours for people to get more money and credits and whatnot to get better ships to then probably go after this son of a bitch. It's just a nice simple storyline, and that's what made me initially think, okay.
Yeah, it is a big departure from the first game. The first game, it was sort of more capital ship, that you had like broadsides and you could use your turrets as well. In this, it's very much dogfighting. It's basically fighters, but obviously some of them are bigger than that.
It's done well though.
It is done well. It does have like an auto-follow lock-on thing, which will keep you on the tail of the bad guy, which is it's okay, because like when you're not using a joystick and you're using a joypad or mouse and keyboard, it can be easier to do that. So I can forgive that sort of removal of
and it's not
skill.
Auto aim.
No,
by any means. So when you are following somebody automatically, it's positioning and orientating your ship in the right direction to follow that particular bad guy.
Unless he's coming straight at you, because you orientate directly at him.
Yeah.
And then you can just shoot.
And then crash.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that a lot.
Yeah. And it's
fucking
like
spiteful bastards.
That does more damage than most weapons. Kamikazing yourself into enemies. But yeah, the basic game is spaceship, landing on certain docking stations and kind of ports. You'll fly out and either mine some resources when you can, or go and answer distress calls and maybe get into some fights or escort missions. And then you got your main story missions, which would be like specific kind of things which fucked you up. And then we'll get into that in a second. But you're doing these missions, you go back to the space dock and you kind of sell all the shit that you want to sell. Prices are different between docking stations, so you can kind of work with the market, and you can see some sales data and stuff when you do that. You can play games of dice or slot machines.
Or pool.
Oh yes, and 8 ball as well, yeah. And you can go speak to the bartender, and that's a bit of a trope. Very nicely done though. Go speak to the bartender, get some information of a local like warlord.
Yeah, you can also join merchants and mercenaries guilds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like all these things may sound familiar because they were all in the original Privateer from the much lauded Wing Commander series, and I loved Privateer. I loved it.
But I like the mining aspect. It's very calming.
I never really did much of that. I kind of got sick of mining when playing Eve.
It's easy to get money doing that. But I mean, I would class this as a Sunday morning hangover game. Perfect for that. You don't have to think a great deal. There's a lot of sort of repetition, but not in a bad way. It's just you're grinding to get certain credits, or you're grinding to get another ship and things to put on your ship. I would say that the inventory of things to put on your ship is a bit too small. I think it's a case of that costs more than that, I'll have that. And then once you've got it, there's nothing else to do. So hopefully they might actually bring out a few more bits of content.
Yeah, I mean, technically I think there are 7 ships in the game, but there's only 4 really on offer from the start. You can like figure out like by overhearing conversations and like getting tips and stuff like that where you can get the other 3 ships. I mean, you can buy your own base.
Yeah, I've come across that one.
I've never had enough money to actually do it. Once I've been there, though, I've been like, shit. Where was that again? I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting game and interesting mechanic of kind of economy, and I think it's probably done by a small studio. I don't know how big Rebel Galaxy Studios are, whatever they're called.
I can't remember.
Double Damage, I think.
Double Damage, that is correct, yeah.
So I don't know how big those guys are, but they put out a decent product, but it's just on that weird like step between being that AA kind of indie title and jumping over into being something really, really polished.
Yeah, I think I'd be much more harsh with the game if it was like a full price 60 quid.
Oh, definitely not worth 60 quid.
No.
There's not enough difference in experience and content. It's definitely good for 25 quid. You'll get your money's worth. The soundtrack, yeah, it's fantastic, and you can choose like GTA with like a number of different stations. They're all very similar to GTA stations. You've got your rock channel, your Latino channel, your dance channel, your metal channel.
Yeah, see, I didn't go much on the soundtrack this time around. I just basically turn it off and have like the ambient music going.
Yeah, and you can't actually turn the music off.
No, you can't turn music off, but you can turn like the licensed music off. It even has like a
streamer mode. Yeah,
so you can like avoid like all the copyright stuff. But yeah, I didn't like it as much as the first game. The first game had a fucking amazing soundtrack. I loved it. In fact, I went and got like a load of the songs from the soundtrack that I had to look up because they didn't actually release an album, which would have been really handy. Like a Rebel Galaxy soundtrack.
It's the same problem with Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
The licensing costs would be too much to make an album.
Yeah, well, the GTA did it.
Yeah, you're talking about Rockstar.
Yeah, true. I am talking about Rockstar. But yeah, so like none of the music really. I mean, in the first one, it was all very sort of swamp rock and stuff like that, and maybe for like a space cowboy and shit like that. And this is just like, yeah, I'm not a fan of this turn off.
Well, one actually little thing I did like and didn't like at the same time was when you buy a new ship, your whole cockpit changes. So your view out of the window will change to, if you're getting a big old freighter, you'll have a much smaller window. If you get a fighter, you can see a lot more. But it would change. So all of your instruments and readouts and stuff will be in different places. So it's kind of nice it changes, but also really annoying because you got used to just glancing over to go, okay, I've got so many missiles left, or I've got this much speed at the moment, and then you have to look around and where the fuck is it now?
Yeah, that again was in Privateer, so yeah, well done lads, you making a new Privateer for me.
Yeah, well, you're happy for that.
That was fucking hard as well.
You can fly around your spaceship in third person, so you can enjoy the actual ship itself. I always like the cockpit view and the way that she switches on everything when she gets in. It's really nice.
And it sort of boots up in like fucking 80s DOS mode.
Yeah, it's all good. So I would recommend it to people who are certainly a fan of the first game. I think it's of the same ilk and it's cut from the same cloth, but it's a different game.
It is a very different game from the first game. I mean, you are buying ships and equipping ships and like, trading, but the actual gameplay side of it is extremely different, because before it was more of like
positioning and strategic battle.
So it was kind of like Star Trek combat as opposed to Star Wars combat, if you like, and this one's very much like the dogfighting fighter element rather than the big ships giving each other broadsides and stuff.
But the range of weapons you can actually use, I'd say, are limited but still fun. They still feel satisfying when things blow up. Explosions look good in space. That's always a plus point.
Yeah, one thing I do like is it says breach imminent on the enemy readout when it's about to blow up, because if you're too close you get damaged.
Yeah, unfortunately the warning about your own critical damage is a darn sight too late.
Yeah, and plus, like, she flaps. When she's taken down, she's like... You
get cracks in your windscreen, you get like things smoking in front of you. It's actually quite cool, well done, but it's annoying that it doesn't tell you like before the event, because when it's telling you that critical damage has been received, what it actually means is you've been blown up. And by that point, you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating when none of your weapons work and your engine goes at like 4 meters per second. You're like, oh, I'm dead.
The actual game needs to be optimized a little bit better for just general use. It does seem to cache up things as you go along, so the loading times are really long at the start. I say really long, but long enough to notice.
Yeah.
And then they get better as the game goes on, as the more you play. So like entering stocks and actual stations, all of that stuff is fine. And you can skip a lot of stuff, so well done for that, because the amount of times you will be going to a dock and it'll be like, hey, you're clear to land, please find some and you're like, I don't care, skip.
Yeah, it does have a lot of like really good quality of life ideas, like you'll get pulled out of like autopilot to answer distress calls, but
you can switch that off.
There's an option to turn it off, so it doesn't interrupt you, and so you know, like if you're getting dragged out of warp, you're probably fucked.
Once I changed that, a new feeling of dread every time I stopped was a bit more.
Yeah, and then you just realise that it was a trader right in front of you. You couldn't get to go round. Like, oh, cheers, buddy.
Mining is interesting. If that's what you want to do, you can play the game a little bit like that to get your money up, but you also have standing to concern with as well. If you're doing missions, there's like the good and the bad, so like the kind of rebels, and then the police side of things, the law and order and chaos, good and bad, white and dark. It's very, very binary like that. So it's interesting, and you can build up your standing with certain people, so you might get easier to get out of trouble. Say if you do a lot of things for the rebels and the pirates and whatnot, you can then sort of say to the pirates who want to attack you, no, it's fine, let's leave it.
Yeah, and sometimes, actually quite a lot of the time, they'll leave you alone.
Yeah, and it is quite handy, because if you're on your way to do a mission, you've got to do like, you've got to hit certain warp gates to go to a different area, and then do another one and another one. You're doing like 7 jumps, it gets tedious. But if you go all that way and have to fight someone at every single jump you do, you have no fucking ammunition by the time you get to the place you want to go to. So it's very important that you can get out of, and repair everything, and that costs money. But it is nicely put together. It just, for me, it was missing that little bit of polish, but it was still very much an enjoyable experience to play. And I've probably sunk about 12 to 15 hours into it.
I've probably done more than that, but it doesn't really count for me.
That's right. Tell us your story.
So I was playing it through, and I was like, okay, I got this mission, and it was like extreme or something, like really hard. So I was like, okay, right, I'm going to earn some money. I'm going to get my shit better. In fact, look, fuck it. I'm going to buy the best ship, because like it doesn't make any sense not to do that. So flying around for ages, doing missions, and I'm like selling stuff off, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I had like some like overflow. I'm like, oh, there's a launcher there. Fuck that, sell that, get some money for that. Got my ship up. I'm like, fucking the best ship, fucking 6 guns on it, maximum everything. I was like, right, let's go do this mission. Went to this mission. I needed an EMP launcher, which is what I sold, and you can't buy it anywhere. So I was like, oh fuck.
It does have a massive star next to the actual name of the thing to probably indicate that you shouldn't do that.
but it shouldn't let you do that. Is the point?
Ooh, you're just an idiot. They can't plan against that, Lee.
So I restarted, was doing okay, getting up to that point again, and then my PSU went pop. So I was like, damn it.
No luck.
No, so
In fact, I can see your PCs in kind of not pieces.
not pieces, but the side panels are off. It's actually quieter.
What, because of the new PSU?
Yeah, I haven't reattached, like, I got like this front panel where you can change fan speeds and stuff. I haven't hooked that back up to a Molex connector, and it seems to be quieter, so I might leave it.
Anyway, we're here to talk about a game, not
Yeah.
Lee's PC.
Yes.
But yeah, so I think if we just give it maybe a quick score and round things off.
Yeah, I think.
What's that?
I'm going to have to go 0.5.
Can't do a 0.5.
Oh,
It's got to be a whole number. Makes you make a decision.
if I give everything a 7, I can't give it a 7. I'm going to give this game a 7. I give everything
After all that.
7. Yeah, it's a great game. It's not. There are things that are wrong with it. I would have preferred it to be more in line with the first game, perhaps, than to change sort of like the style of the fighting in it. I was always like the guy that used the turrets on the first game, and I was replaying it. I actually got into the broadsides more, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's actually much easier on these big fellas, so I'd be doing that. And then this comes out, and it's just like, yeah, this is Privateer again. Now, I love Privateer. I love an updated version of Privateer, but I'm just like, I'd like to see what the next one would be. And plus, there's not very many ships, so it's kind of like you can grind like the opening sort of system for a long time, get best of everything, and go, okay, now I'll play the game.
7 out of 10. So I think my score would probably be a 6, but only because to mark it as a decent effort game, but not life changing. Mine does, like you, range in that kind of pushing towards a 7, the next one up. But for me, I had some issues with the control structure that it had on the joypad. So, for example, for when you're moving around in your ship, you can't really strafe much.
Yeah.
So it feels very limiting.
Well, you can turn off the redirection, so you can basically go in that way, and you can turn that off and be able to angle, but you'll still be going this way.
Okay, well,
I never used it though.
no, I don't think I've used that either. But for me, it felt a little bit limiting. So maybe it's just me being stupid. But the boost and afterburner type thing, that's like clicking like an L3, and it just feels wrong to do that because you're steering with the L3. Everything you're doing, directing your ship left, right, up, and down. But then you've got to boost as well. It just feels a bit off. I'm sure key bindings would fix that, but like as a default, it feels wrong. I don't know what the idea behind that was, because it's not like you toggle it. You have to keep pressing it to use your afterburner to get away from shit, to get away from things before you can jump, which is another thing that kind of annoys me. If you're leaving a spaceport, suddenly you have to wait until you've gone a certain period away from the dock to shoot off into your autopilot.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of bits like that sort of peppered throughout the game. I mean, you'll be at a jump point, but it won't let you jump because there's a bad guy.
Yeah.
What was the example I was saying you earlier? It was a really good example. Oh, the contraband scanning.
Yeah.
So you're trying to dock. You're like sat in the mouth of the space station, but you can't dock because this policeman's scanning your cargo hold. You're like, we just get on
And all the while you're actually heading towards the dock.
You're just like, hurry
you're
up.
about to crash into it.
Or then you have the points where you're trying to get away from the station, but you actually get too close and you end up docking again. It's like,
Yeah, little things. But I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say this is a game not to purchase. It is a lot of fun.
It is.
If you're into the kind of space battle thing, and like I said, the Hangover game. I always call games Hangover games, but you don't have to think too much. You don't have to get involved in the story and like really concentrate on what's going on. It's jump in, have a few missions, jump out.
Yeah, I mean,
it's nice. It's good.
Even the sort of barroom games are all sort of well done. So
yeah, I mean, all of it's got a lot of effort, but it just hasn't got that extra bit. So 6 out of 10 for me, 7 out of 10 for you. That's that. So I hope you have enjoyed the review. That's us talking about the Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. Don't forget we have videos coming out every Wednesday and Saturday, so check back then for some awesome content. and like and subscribe the video.
And let us know down below if you bought Rebel Galaxy Outlaw and what you thought of it, and whether you think it's better or worse than the first.
Or you just don't care. If you don't care, comment anyway, because it helps.
Yeah, engagement please.
Yes. We'll see you again soon, so take care of yourselves.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.